thank you, Kelly, for the introduction, and then thank you, Andy, and then Kelly for organizing this very continuing workshop, and then this lecture series. So when I was asked to do this seminar, I was wondering, do I have anything special that I can share with the public? Not so sure. So then later I found that I'm a physicist, can do the good analysis. And let's do analysis of my own life to find out something useful information that I can share with you. When I did that, I found some. Hopefully you can get some benefit out of it.
There we go.
It's working? Yep. So today I'm going to talk about, there are many aspects of my life. Today I'm going to focus on my science life and Christian life. And at the beginning, they start quite independent. There are more the common ground between my science life and Christian life. And later, there are some big collision occurs between these two. And that collision was not smooth at all. It took about 7 plus to almost 9 years. And then later, they got settled, and now they're moving as a one time. So all these kind of some main outline, I'm going to talk about the details. So I was born in the South Korea, in a very happy, normal family with my father, my mother, then my elder sister, younger sister, me is here, and then my uncle, aunt, and then 2 cousins. My father worked in the optical company that produced lots of the telescope camera. Therefore, I think that my gene as a scientist looks like came from my father. And my Christian life started around 5th grader. So this is me. And then, as Kelly explained, one of my friends who lived in the next door, one day came to me, "You want to go to church?" And then he said, "Yeah, there are a lot of things going on in the church. Why not?" So if I joined the church first time, then I was the first person who attended church among my family. Then I made a lot of good friends from the church. And then that is the beginning of my Christian life. How about my science life? I consider that it started during the middle school years, quite early. So basically, I read this book, 재미있는 물리여행, in Korean. In translation English, it means exciting physics travel. So 2 books. I really enjoyed this book. Then later I found that original title is Thinking Physics, written by Lewis Epstein. This book was amazing. So basically, this book is talking about the basic concept of quantum mechanics, special relativity, general relativity, all sorts of the fun, the physical phenomena. I really enjoyed reading this. And again, thinking about this concept. So that is the starting of the science life. And then this book was recommended by this guy. This guy was reading lots of strange books, including science, philosophy, and then one of the book was this one. Yeah, that was very good influence to me. So as a result, I went to college to do physics major. So during my college year, I took lots of the physics classes. Among them, quantum mechanics and the relativity. That was the awesome class. I still love those classes. I really enjoyed. And also, I took the senior research project on black hole. That was another awesome moment. During the college year, I met very good professors, many of them, and then 2 professors was very influential to me. Professor Kwon and then Professor Cha. He was the research mentor for this research project. So whenever I have some question, I came to their office, then ask a question. I asked a lot of questions. And then they were really kind to me, and then answering, patiently listening my strange question, then answering back. That interaction was really awesome. Then I had really good learning experience during my college. So now I'm teaching, so I want to be, they are my role model as a professor. I want to be like them. Also, they are very good Christian. How about my Christian life didn't go very well during my college years. Elementary school, middle school, high school, I regularly attended church, but during this college year, there was some issue in our church. There are conflict, and then there are internal conflict, and then church separated. Therefore, the young adult program didn't go very well. Therefore, many people left, including me. So I was quite away from church during this time. And this professor, Kwon, strongly recommended me to go outside of the South Korea and do some studying abroad. So then I considered that seriously. I came to US, and then I came to Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts for my PhD study. Then I joined Professor Agasta's research team. Then I studied this organic superconductor. So as you can see, this organic superconductor that has the conducting and insulating layers, two-dimensional material. Then this is actual organic superconductors mounted on this coil. It's a sensor coil that can measure magnetic susceptibility. And then this experiment setup will be cooled down to 0.3 Kelvin, almost absolute 0 Kelvin. And then this sample is located at the center of this resistive magnet, copper magnet. And then we have this giant capacitor bank. So this is the whole wall. Each capacitor weighs about 70 pounds. Some of them is almost 100 pounds, very heavy. And then for physics students who are taking the 122, 106, you recently learn about capacitor. To increase the capacitance, you need to connect them in parallel, right? So everything is connected in parallel. And then energy was about 500 kilojoule. And then this whole energy is discharged through this magnet within 0.5 seconds. Huge energy going through the electromagnet. And within 10 milliseconds, magnetic field can reach about 50 Tesla very sharply. And then it decays. It is called a pulse field magnet. It's a really cool device. And then everything is quite handmade, as you can see. Even for this magnet is handmade. It's amazing. The professor, the Agasta, was very handy. He can make everything. Whatever he wants, he just make it up. So we did quite interesting research. And then we studied the phase diagram of organic superconductor, temperature, magnetic field, and they found very interesting FFLO state, the phase. I'm not going to go into very detail about that. Also, then I was able to publish my first publication during my PhD. But I know several the physics major already got their publication during college. I'm so jealous about you guys. Considering that I got my first publication during my PhD. So also we did a lot of the interesting experiment. This oscillation is quantum oscillation. This is very important experiment we did. And for those who don't know about the superconductivity very well, so I'm going to briefly show you this one. Basically, superconductor is a special material that shows zero resistance. Every material has some resistance, but this superconductor has zero resistance below very low temperature, below some critical temperature. Then it shows Meissner effect. Basically, this material expels all the magnetic field when you apply. Okay, because of that, we can see this magnetic levitation. My students Hope, Ida, Trevor, Joy were there. Also, they're here. Let's have a look at this. There are permanent magnet track around here. She's going to put the superconducting material on top. It will levitate. Levitated in 12 flips. It's hung in air without any string. Can you see? That's a really cool superconducting material that I'm studying. This is really cool. It's really cool, right? Yeah. So there are a lot of applications of superconductor, but I'm not going to go detail about this one. So the PhD research went pretty well. I got some publication and then good outcome. I was really happy. But there are some important things happen in my family. So I got married. This is my wife, my beautiful wife, Insun, and then we got married in South Korea. So there are traditions in South Korea. After the wedding, we are wearing king's clothes and then queen's dress. We were king. We pretend to be a king and queen one day. It was one time. And there was another important thing happened. Our first child was born, Yuna, so adorable. Then now she's 16. Time flies very fast. Then also another very important thing happened in my Christian life. So when I came to the US, I started attending some local Korean church around. It is the Worcester Korean United Methodist Church. And it is a small church with about 40 to 50 Korean people, including children. Very small church. And then I found some very strange Christian there. They're very strange to me. I never seen these kinds of Christian. So they are talking about the presence of God. They feel the presence of God pretty much every day. So come on, I was in church for many years. How that happened? So therefore, they made me so curious about their God. So therefore, I asked them, if I have a question, I just ask. I'm not no teacher, just go ask. So I asked them many questions, and then they sincerely answered back to me about their experience. That answer really made me very curious. Oh, if there are God who they are talking about really exists, I really want to see those God. I'm very curious. Therefore, I internally prayed by myself that if they're God, I want to really meet those God for about 6 months. And during that time, especially among these, Jongho, Son, and then Eunyoung-go, they were very special, the person to me. I asked a lot of questions, they answered back to me. And after about 6 months, they prepared this winter retreat. It is held in the New Hampshire, about 2.5 hours north from the Worcester. It was very cold day in 2004. I remember temperature is very easy to remember, 0 Fahrenheit that day. So I still remember. I cannot forget it. So they invited the missionary, the pastor, Mu Yong-yoon, who served for the church in China for many years. And then this conference started, winter retreat started in the evening of Friday, then lasted until the Sunday. And he talks about his experience in China, and then taught many things. I cannot cover everything here because of time limit. During this time, I feel a very strong, strange feeling. So feeling some presence of God during this time. I got very puzzled. Is God really exists? Things like that. Then conference ended. Then following the Monday, I was really curious and then to test the presence of God. And I start reading Bible all in the morning, sometimes 6 in the morning, sometimes 5 in the morning. So what happened is initially I read the Bible, and then that Bible was quite different than the Bible that I read for the past years. it was very, very different. Every line of the Bible, the verses gave me very strong message. So, wow, this is so new. So I think I was kind of some full of spirit during that time. And then that lasted about 3 months, every day. I don't read Bible much before that, but suddenly I became the person who's reading Bible very seriously. Then every morning I'm very eager to read Bible. Therefore, someday 6, someday I want to read Bible early, so I wake up 5 automatically. Someday I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm very eager to read. This was very strange feeling for about 3 months. And after 3 months, I got so busy to preparing some presentation to go to the conference, and my life schedule got messed up, and then this 3 months feeling disappears. Later, I found that this is quite a special time for me. So after this experience, I became really the serious Christian. And then one important question just pops up. Now I know God is really present. Then I'm a physicist. First question is, then how did He create the world? We know all this knowledge, scientific knowledge, but doesn't work very well with the scientific belief. So how can you understand this? This was really the first question and one of the most important questions to me. So I look for some good answers. I desperately look for visiting many the Christian web pages and then talking to many pastors, but I wasn't able to get good answer. None of them was reasonable. So, but still, I was kept looking for. I struggled to find good information. It takes almost 7 years until 2011. I struggled to find good information. So this collision was very rough. I have strong belief now, but I have a big collision, big conflict between my understanding in science and the Christian belief. Anyways, I successfully graduated, finished my PhD, and then I started working as a scientist at Ames National Laboratory. I work with very high-profile researchers, Ruslan Prozorov and then Makari Tanata. This is a helium-3 cryostat that can go down to about 0.3 Kelvin. Then this is a dilution refrigerator that can go further down to 0.01 Kelvin, extremely cold. Then these are the liquid helium, liquid nitrogen, and then other pump station, other electronic device. With this fancy equipment, we did many interesting experiments. So we studied ion-based superconductors, phase diagram. We got very good publication. I was the second author. I was very close to the first author. I pushed myself a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, so also we studied niobium diselenide, a different type of superconductor. We got also a good publication. We did a lot of interesting research. And during this time also, very important thing happened in my family. I got second child. So my second child, Yena, was born. And this is my first child, Yuna and Yena. Okay, so was born, and then now she is 11 years old. Time flies. Then another important thing happened in my Christian life during this time as a scientist. I had this big collision to understand the relation between the scientific understanding and Christian belief. And in 2011, I attended this conference, COSTA. It stands for Korean Students All Nation. So it is an annual conference that is held in the Wheaton College in Illinois every year. It is designed for the Korean students and the young adults. I attended this conference about 3 times since I become very serious Christian. when I attend this conference second time, I attend this Professor Jong-ak Woo's seminar. Seminar title was Relation Between Science and Christianity. Really attracted me, but I didn't have much expectation because I already looked through many things. No good understanding. Okay, let's try to see what he's talking about. And it turns out his explanation was quite reasonable. I was very shocked that time. He was able to make some good connection between the scientific understanding and then the Christian belief, how to understand, how to read the Bible, things like that. And then that was very reasonable. I was shocked. I first time listened that kinds of seminar during this conference. Then later, he suggested for me to read this book, Origins, titled by the Deborah and Lauren Hasma. Later, I found that they are a professor at Calvin University. Early last year, I visited Calvin University to give some physics seminar. That time, I met Lauren Hasma, and then we had good conversation about this story. So, Professor Woo's seminar and this book, and also he recommended many other books, was really helpful for me to understand those relations. So, everything makes sense in my brain. But it was only brain. It didn't come down to my mind. So everything is reasonable. Still, there are the conflict with my mind. So it took another 2 years. I read many books. And then I was pondering, oh, that makes sense. Now, really? I was self-studying about all this subject. Then about 2 years later, finally it's settled. Now I'm very comfortable about these relations. So my science life start working with Christian life together. That happened during these years. Then after that, I came to the Hope College. So here I continue my superconductivity research. So it is a high temperature. This time I'm studying thin film superconductor, high temperature superconducting material. This is the sample. You can see it's a hairpin pattern. Those are the thin film sample. Then we are making some electric contact to measure the resistance. And this sample is mounted on this cryostat cooling device that can go down to about 4 Kelvin. Then we are measuring, and also we are using this particle accelerator located at the basement of the Van der Waals building. Then we did quite interesting researches. So basically how the property changes upon this proton irradiation. And we were very successful, and recently we published 3 articles, as you can see. And then these are my students, Hope, Joy, Nolan, Trevor, then Katie, then Trevor, and then Joshua, and me. So this photo was taken after the summer research. Can you recognize where they are? Where it is? Captain Sunday, yeah. Captain Sunday, yes. Captain Sunday. We go there, and then after the summer research, we are taking some group photo. So research is going pretty well at the Hope College. And how about my science and Christian life? Basically, people coming to Hope by the Christian faith and science life got together. So once I got the margin, and then I was start thinking about I really want to spend some time to devote some time to study, to better understand the relation of the science and then the Christianity. And I found that Hope College is the perfect place that I can do this job. And also, I met many good professors and staffs at the Hope College, especially Professor Peter Gantier. He is a retired physics professor who taught many senior seminar classes. Then he retired. Since he's retired, he provided lots of great books to me that I can learn SQ myself, also I can share with the other students. This is really a great opportunity. Also, during the Continuum Scholar workshop, I had really good discussion with many the faculty and staff member. I learned a lot. So I think the Hope College is a really good place that I can continue my journey in this subject. So I did some brief analysis on my own life, and then I shared. Here is kind of some summary. Initially, my science and Christian life were quite independent until college years. Then when I met a good Christian, they made me so curious. I think this is very important. So if you can make people very curious, they will think about the God's presence. And then that curiosity really led me to feel a presence of God. That really happened. And also another important thing is when I become a serious Christian, now the relation between scientific understanding, Christian belief become very important. It was not that important to me before. I heard about that, but I didn't consider much because I was not very serious. But once I become very serious, how God created the world, that was really important question to me. I need to resolve that. I need to find the answer. And then it took very long time to figure this out for me, to finding the good information. Also, I found the information. It took another 2 years to digest those information. So there was a big collision moment. And now I'm at Hope College. I plan to continue my lifelong investigation to better understand the relation between the science and Christianity. So I did some the analysis on my own life, hoping for some of you can some benefit out of it. Okay, yeah. Thank you for your attention. Yeah, any question?
Yeah, we have time for questions. Start us off. I'm curious about the moment that you heard from the professor that you showed a picture of, and it was in that moment where it was that final, or it was like the first time, I guess, that you were able to reconcile, like,
Right.
the beginning of the earth.
Right.
Was it new information that they presented? Was it the way that they
Actually,
presented it?
before coming to this conference, actually I didn't get this explanation before. How to understand the age of, how to connect the age of universe, and then with the Bible. So the information that I got was not reasonable to me before. Then when I first time hear that, he explained how to understand the Genesis first, second, those explanation. I didn't hear much before. Previously I heard some other information. So therefore, I don't know whether it is strange only to me. It took 7 years to find a quite reasonable the explanation. Therefore, when I attend this seminar, I didn't expect much. I thought that there are no better explanation. I just curious to attend what he's going to talk about. I just want to listen. And then after listening, I was kind of shocked. It shocked me. Really? And then things make sense to me as a scientist. And then also after that, it took another 2 years to completely understand this, to make this my own. Therefore, I read many other books, and then communicating with other people, and then finally, this guy settled. I settled. But it was very rough time. I got very strong. I became very serious Christian. Got very strong belief, but there are some conflict that I need to figure out. So it took 7 plus 2 years, very, very long time. Yeah. Yeah.
Friends, because the handheld mic is out of battery, when you ask a question, we'd love you to, please just speak up a little bit. And then, Q, can you try to repeat questions that are
okay, sure.
That'd be
I will.
great.
Sure,
Thank you.
I will, yeah. Yep.
So I'm curious, you described the intersection point in this conference where your science and your Christian life came together. Between that point and when you came to Hope College, there's several years intervening where I guess you were still working at Ames. How did that intersection of your science and Christian life look in the context of a national laboratory versus how has that changed coming here?
I see. Question is that I got some, after this conference, and then before coming to Hope, I work at the National Laboratory, and then probably I can share about my experience at the National Laboratory. It's very difficult to find Christian. So many people are non-Christian. Then also the one day I had some strong conversation with another postdoc who is a Hebrew, and then we had very strong debates about Christianity, and then we had a very good conversation, but I was ready to answer because I already have the good knowledge about this understanding. I have some solid foundation about this understanding. So and then we had a good discussion, and then I was able to explain. But he cannot make against the claim because that. So it was the working in the national lab experience in terms of the Christian scientists. It was rough. Most of them, it's very difficult to find a Christian scientist, and then I try to tell a little bit, and then, but it didn't work very well. Yeah, unfortunately. But I tried several times to bring this discussion with them, but yeah, it didn't go very well from my experience. Yeah. But in the Korean church, I attended the Korean Reforms, the CRC church during this year. In the church, we had very good discussion about. We had some group study about this book during at the church. It was very a good time too. Yeah.
You mentioned a lot about the ideas in that book and what the professor said about like creation and where the world came from as a question.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of central to a lot of what you think about. What is like your explanation that you came to over like that 7 years of thinking? Can you describe more about like what you believe in that aspect?
I see. So it will be a quite long discussion. So probably let me try to say it quickly. So basically, my understanding after learning this is that we need to be careful about the scientific truth and then our interpretation. Those are the different levels. So there are Christian scientists, non-Christian scientists. They are going to do some observation or study. While they are doing this observation, it is, I think, quite objective. Whoever studied, the speed of light is the same. Whoever studied, the gravitational constant is the same. Things like that. It's quite objective. But some people put their interpretation on top of this result. This result support God. This result support no God. Things like that. Therefore, I found that it's very important to distinguish this difference. The objective, the observation result, and then is the extra level of interpretation. That was what I learned from this Professor Wu. And then also another thing he focused on is that how to interpret the Genesis 1. Whether do we really need to interpret as literal truth, or it could be some representation of something. So therefore, he showed me various ways from the literal interpretation to some representation, the interpretation. He showed me various way to describe. And then that was really helpful. Then I found that because probably I want to be a little bit careful. So because later probably I'm going to talk more about this subject. But what I see is that how to understanding the Genesis first and second, depending on that, depending on the way you are doing the interpretation, results will be quite different. Therefore, we need to find out good way to understand this Genesis. So probably I can tell you about it, but we can talk more later. Okay, yeah. Thank you for the question. Yeah.
How did you join the church in like 5th grade? How did that affect your family life? Back in Korea.
Yeah. So that's an important question. I was the first one who went to the church, and then later my 2 sisters joined. My mother joined. Then my father resisted for a long time. Then probably I didn't tell you, my father passed away during the high school year. He has some cancer, so he passed away. But shortly before he passed away, he attended church. He showed some the belief. Yeah. So I was the first one started, and then many people just followed in my family. Yeah.
I have another one.
Yep.
You mentioned like this long perseverance of wrestling with questions. Have you seen anything in your scientific career that has also had that level, or something that's similar with that level of wrestling with?
Not really. Science was easier. Science was much easier. So I struggled about several months, then we can figure out. Or we can find out that that's the maximum that we can go. We cannot do more than that, things like that. But not like 7 years struggle. Yeah. Very good question. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yep.
As a Christian, I believe that we cannot take our faith away from our job. So I believe that our Christianity affect our perspective on job also.
Mhm.
About our role, or what do you think about your job as a scientist or as a professor or a Christian?
Yeah, I see. His question is whether my Christian identity affect my job.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, but still, I think that initially my science career started. Then later, my serious the Christian belief started. Then later, it became together. But science-wise, I always loved it. I always loved my research through my whole career. And then I became the serious Christian. But my science activity is quite objective. So to me, when I do research, I feel like I'm doing quite objectively. So I'm Christian, therefore this result should be like that. It never happened. I'm just curious, what is truth in the physical world? And also, I'm looking for what is truth in my Christian life. Therefore, it is interacting together, but I think that since I have the Christian faith, this result should be like that. That is not happening. But what I feel is that I'm still looking for the truth in my research. So I'm looking for the truth in my Christian faith. Probably there I can say, yeah. I have some, because I'm doing the superconductivity research, I have some belief that I think we'll be able to find room temperature superconductor. I have some belief on that. Yeah. I don't know whether it's coming from the Christianity or from my own desire. I have that belief. Yeah. Yep.
You mentioned that your professors in college really influenced you as a professor today. Is there anything specific that you've taken away from them and brought to your own teaching?
Oh, yeah, actually, I want to show the image here. Okay, so 2 professors. I learned a lot. So from them, the first thing that right now I'm teaching at Hope College. I'm trying to be as best as I can to be a kind professor. So because they were really kind. So whenever I ask question, they open the door, they allow me to come in. Then they are not in hurry. They are taking my question, even though it's a very silly question. They're taking seriously, spend time, answer question. That was really good for me. I had really good learning experience. Therefore, when I teach at Hope College, I'm trying to do the same thing. Whoever I'm just trying to welcome. There are some of my students. Come to my office, okay? Please visit. I can say that if you are visiting your professor's office more, they will love you more, okay? All right, so that's the wisdom that I learned. Please keep doing that, okay? Yeah. Probably you can get slight boost in your grade. Yeah, some advice. So yeah, so that was the first thing, and then also they were really professional. The professors, they're really good in their research. So the Professor Kwon did some of the string theory calculation, and then he did also quantum computation, many other things. But he was at the very high profile, the high level. So when I do my research, I'm trying to be at the top. I'm trying to do a really good research. To do that, I need to push myself to do well. So basically, on the teaching side, and there was a research side, I learned a lot from these 2 professors. Also, they are my academic mentors still. We have some still very good communication. So this photo was taken when I visited South Korea last fall. Then I visited my alma mater, Hanyang University. Then after the lunch, we took this photo. And then this photo was taken when we attend the American Physical Society conference in about 2015. Then I met him at the conference, and then we had a good dinner. So this relation started a long time ago, still lasting. Because I love this professor. Then they're very still kind to me, supporting the career. A very good question. Thank you. Yeah. Yep.
In your research work, I don't know how far it goes beyond hope, but in terms of national, international physics world, do you still run into that skepticism about your Christianity in terms of other scientists? Do you still counteract that, and it's hard to have those kinds of discussions?
So when I work at the Ames National Laboratory, there are many non-Christian scientists, but they don't care about my belief at all. So they are just focusing on their research. Therefore, when I work, they are looking at me as some just normal scientist, first of all. And then, but when I starting some discussion about this to some of the close scientists, they were just rejecting. So difficult to make the good conversation. But working as a scientist, they consider me as the normal scientist, yeah, without considering my Christian belief. Thank you. Any other questions?
Can I ask one last question?
Yep.
Do you have any advice for your students as they think about starting their careers in science, either from a faith perspective or from a perspective of a scientist? How do you help students think about how to follow the journey that you have?
Oh, I see.
And
So
what do you suggest to them?
I see. So I think that everything started the curiosity for me during the middle school year. I read this interesting the physics book, and that really I was fascinated by those books. Then I became very curious to know about quantum mechanics and then special relativity and general relativity. Then the college I learned that it was fascinating. So I think that curiosity is very important. And also, once you are curious, probably once students become curious, I'm trying to ask them to be very serious. Mean, put a lot of effort. You are curious, but if you don't put your effort a lot, you cannot find the truth in that area. Therefore, I think curiosity plus seriousness, I think those are important to find the career for the future career. Yeah, that's my thought. Yeah.
All right. Can we thank Dr. Cho one more time?
Thank you.